Civilians in Gaza are trapped as Israeli occupation expands offensive in the southern part of the enclave. Houthi attacks in the Red Sea escalate after the group targets a British ship in the Gulf of Aden. Government forces clash with the Houthi militia in Chapal province. Good evening. Welcome to Yemen Today News. I am Abir Ali. Dozens of citizens were killed and injured today, Sunday, as a result of the continuation of the Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip. The number of deaths and wounded since the start of the aggression on the Gaza Strip on the 7th of last October has risen to more than 26,200 and 64,700 injuries. The following report has more.
Witnesses said that 3 Palestinians were killed in an airstrike that Israel's military said was targeting the Palestinian resistance commander in southern Gaza, less than a day after the International Court of Justice ordered Israel to do all it could to prevent death, destruction, and any acts of genocide in the besieged territory. Israel's military will be under increasing inspection now that the top United Nations court has asked Israel for a compliance report in a month. The court's bending ruling stopped short of ordering a ceasefire, but its orders were in part a rebuke of Israel's conduct in its nearly 4-month war against Gaza. The UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees, the main organization aiding Gaza's population amid the humanitarian disaster, saw more countries suspend its funding. Britain, Italy, and Finland joined the United States, Australia, and Canada in placing aid to the agency. The Israeli war has killed more than 26,000 Palestinians, according to local health officials, destroyed vast ribbons of Gaza, and displaced nearly 85% of the territory's population of 2.3 million people. At least 174 Palestinians were killed over the past day, the health ministry in Gaza said. Rafah and the surrounding areas are crammed with more than 1 million people after many civilians attempted to seek refuge there from the fighting. Designated evacuation areas have repeatedly come under airstrikes, with Israel saying it would go after militants as needed. The World Health Organization and the medical charity issued urgent warnings about the largest health facility in Khan Yunis, Nasser Hospital, saying the remaining staff could barely function with supplies running out and intense fighting nearby.
The Arab League began in Cairo its extraordinary session at the level of permanent delegates. The meeting aims to issue a unified Arab position on the ruling issued by the International Court of Justice regarding the temporary measures that Israel must implement to fulfill obligations and prevent genocidal acts in Gaza. 9 countries announced the suspension of their funding to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees. UNRWA Commissioner General Philip Lazzarini said that more than 2 million Palestinians in Gaza depend on the agency to survive. He expressed his shock at the decision to suspend the agency's funding as a reaction to Israeli allegations against a small group of employees. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan pressed Chinese Foreign Minister to use China's influence with Iran to ease tensions in the Middle East. Wang said Washington should stand by a commitment not to support independence for Taiwan. He added that Taiwan's election did not alter to Chinese position that the island is part of China and that the biggest challenge in the U.S.-China relations is the issue of Taiwan independence. The U.S. Navy confirmed that actions of Iran will decide the course of U.S. military operations in Yemen. U.S. Secretary of the Navy said that his country will continue to launch strikes on Houthi positions, noting that the duration of the operation depends on Iran's measures regarding its support for the Houthis. British Defense Secretary Grant Shapps slammed the intolerable and illegal Iran-backed Houthi missile attack on British oil tanker in the Red Sea. Shapps said that this intolerable and illegal attack on maritime shipping is the latest on innocent people and global trade. This report has more.
The Houthi militia in Yemen has escalated attacks on ships in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, reaching a critical point with a missile hitting a British oil tanker on Friday. The resulting massive blaze on the ship took hours to control, raising fears of an environmental disaster if the tanker sank. A spokesperson said that they would like to recognize the exceptional dedication and bravery of the ship's master and crew who managed to control the fire in highly difficult circumstances, as well as the essential assistance provided by Indian, United States, and French Navy vessels to achieve this outcome. Earlier, a fire in ship's cargo tank had been extinguished with the help of Indian, US, and French Navy vessels, and all crew were safe. Houthi threats to shipping in the region persisted despite joint US-UK strikes against the group's sites in Yemen earlier this week. The US responded to the Houthi missile threat with early strikes. Houthis confirmed the attack, claiming it targeted a site near the Ras Isa port in northern Hodeidah. Since November 19, there have been around 34 Houthi attacks in the Red Sea and Gulf of Aden, despite 10 US strikes, 2 involving in the UK. The threat to a crucial trade route persists. The Houthis claim that they attacked to block Israeli ships and now also target US and UK vessels, tying the end of these assaults to a resolution in Gaza. The head of Yemen's Presidential Leadership Council, Rashad al-Arimi, emphasized that military strikes are not the solution. Al-Arimi reiterated his belief in collaboration with the Yemeni government to restore the state and its institutions, offering an alternative approach to the ongoing military efforts against the Houthi threat.
بن ثياب نشطط يعني ثياب نروح عن القرى نحوس وهذا نروح بثياب ونصلحها مآوي وكراتين من الشوارع. والله إن احنا نكره يجي المطر يخسع لنا البطانيات، يخسع الفراش، يخسع الجماش، نسمر برادة خاسعين احنا وجهالنا.
فالمأوى الانتقالي هذا الكنتيرة جعلتهم يعيشوا في استقرار للمستفيدين من ناحية سواء من ناحية الأمطار أو لا من ناحية العواصف والرياح والرملية، بما أنه عندنا هنا في مأرب الرياح بتكون شديدة.
Government forces drove back an attack launched by the terrorist Houthi militia inside the Gabarat. A field source said that the Houthi militia carried out a suicide attack in a failed attempt to advance in the strategic Rahja mountain. The source pointed out that the government forces utterly targeted the terrorist militia's concentration and vehicles in the same area, inflicting heavy losses on them. The Iranian-backed Houthi militia carried out a military operation south of Marib Gabarat in Harib district. Military sources reported that the Houthi militia is seeking, through its continuous escalation, to advance towards the city of Harib, which is under the control of government forces. Shabab Defense Forces launched a counterattack on the sites of the terrorist Houthi militia. A military source said the Houthi militia launched a massive attack on the positions of the giant forces in mountain ranges in the borders in Shabwa. The source explained that the giant forces and the Shabab Defense Forces then launched a counterattack and were able to regain the help from the Houthis. The attack resulted in the death of 70 members of the terrorist Houthi militia, including 2 leaders. A fire broke out in a camp for displaced people in the city of Atak, the center of Shabwa Gabarat, southern eastern Yemen. Local sources said that the fire, which was likely caused by an electrical short circuit, caused material damage, while no human damage was recorded. Coming up in the news. World Health Organization says 200,000 Yemeni benefit from oxygen stations provided by Saudi Arabia.
Sea tortoises in Yemen are prone to extinction, with 90% of them are female. The severe gender imbalance will continue until it brings about the complete loss of sea tortoises in Yemen.
لا ضعيف الذكور وخاصة في الفترة الأخيرة هذه يعني قبل هذا شهر يناير هذا تحصل أكثر شيء ميتين الذكور على الشواطئ من الوسط هذا يعني مليان الذكور ميتين يعني كثير يعني باليوم نحصل 10 حبات 15 حبة مليان منهم يعني وخفوا بالكثير ما شيء زي أول لأن أول كان تحصل لهم مخلوطين الذكر والأنثى الآن أكثر شيء الإناث.
هناك دراسات عملت في كثير من المناطق الساحلية في المنطقة الاستوائية وأثبتت ارتفاع نسبة الإناث مقارنة بالذكور لتصل حتى إلى نسبة أكثر من 90% من نسبة الفاقسات، وبالتالي سيعرض نسبة الذكور بشكل عام إلى التناقص وربما خلال أعوام قادمة إلى الانقراض للذكور من السلاحف البحرية.
Welcome back. A recent government report revealed that more than 1,600 cases of epidemic diseases were recorded in Marib Governorate during the past year. The report added that these infections included dengue fever, suspected acute watery diarrhea, cholera, diphtheria, measles, whooping cough, and others. The World Health Organization reported that 200,000 Yemenis have benefited from oxygen units distributed in 5 governorates. The following report has more.
The World Health Organization has executed a transformative project with robust backing from the King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center. The initiative saw the strategic installation of oxygen stations across 5 Yemeni governorates, delivering indispensable benefits to over 200,000 Yemenis. With generous support from King Salman Humanitarian Aid and Relief Center, World Health Organization has implemented a transformative project, installing 5 oxygen stations across Abyan, Hadramaut, Al-Mahra, Ma'rib, and Shabwa governorates in Yemen. According to the UN organization, these stations, each set up in a major hospital, address the critical need for a sustainable medical oxygen source in remote health facilities. This strategic move not only cuts costs but also fortifies health facilities, stabilizing operational capacities and ensuring a reliable source of medical oxygen. The impact extends beyond basic care to also benefit intensive care, nursery, emergency units, operating theaters, and other treatment units. The organization revealed that the project has surpassed expectations, touching the lives of 235,943 beneficiaries, including 85,454 people who received life-changing oxygen therapy. This initiative has gone beyond its goals, significantly enhancing the healthcare landscape, health and well-being in 5 governorates. In the past, patients had to travel long distances to different districts in search of oxygen, risking fatalities and encountering additional health complications due to the distance and lack of available services.
Informed sources revealed a Houthi corruption deal worth millions of dollars. The sources explained that the Minister of Health of the militia concluded a contract to purchase medicines for long periods without the immediate need for them. On the world leprosy patients in Yemen continue to suffer as they lack basic medical care and face social stigma. The following report has more.
In search of the necessary treatment and care, the visually impaired Haj Ali Naji, accompanied by his son, goes to the only hospital specialized in treating leprosy. Haj Ali complained about the lack of medicine, food, and the required medical service that are considered essential to combat the disease. However, he remained hopeful and continued his treatment.
The treatment here is not like it was before. Everything is deteriorating. We've no money or food. We don't get clothes until someone donates their own. Our condition is really bad and it keeps getting worse.
Haj Ali is one of 100 patients who have been in nursing homes for years to receive the necessary treatment and appropriate care. The hospital hospitalizes approximately 35 patients with skin diseases annually, despite the difficulties and challenges it faces, which have affected its actual ability to provide the required medical services.
As you know, treating leprosy requires specified medical and psychological treatment. It is major problems, the most important of which is social stigma. Here, we have a nursing home that hosts about 100 disabled patients. They need health services along with social, financial and nutrition support.
The challenges did not stop here. However, the hospital was subjected to bombing, destruction and looting, which led to its inability to provide high-quality medical services to patients, whose numbers are increasing day after day due to the war. The story of citizen Ali Naji, who suffers from leprosy, reflects the conditions of hundreds of patients who suffer from disease, poverty, and social discrimination due to the war.
Massam project to clear Yemeni lands of mines reported the removal of more than 3,500 explosive materials during January. The total land mines the project has removed and destroyed has reached more than 430,000 since 2018. A recent economic report revealed a number of Houthi-established exchange companies with Iranian armed in the region. The report on exchange companies stated that the Houthi militia used many methods to tighten control over exchange companies and facilities and employ them to serve them. The militia also forced the exchange companies to conduct their financial transactions away from any international or local oversight. Here is a reminder of the main headlines. Civilians in Gaza are trapped as Israeli occupation expands offensive in the southern part of the enclave. Houthi attacks in the Red Sea escalate after the group targets a British ship in the Gulf of Aden. Government forces clash with the Houthi militia in Shabwa province. This is the end of the news. Thank you for streaming with us. It was Abir Ali.